Well, we were talking about voicings, and we were talking about some things that the advanced student might know, but there are advanced, basic, and professionals, and you'd be surprised. Some of the professionals need some basic things, and some of the basic people already know the advanced. Let's look at a set of things and their behaviors, which is the style that I wanted to talk about. Importantly to know, you've heard that all over the place since you were knee-high to a duck as a young student. And you were probably taught do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It is important to know that there are some conventions about that set of things. That you don't go from any old note to any other note if you're following certain conventions. And that notion of musical conventions is important because it has to do with style. If you listen to Roberta Flack, for example, she tends to use a lot of white notes and sometimes almost to the exclusion of the black ones, so to speak. And then because she's following certain conventions. She's following certain conventions that Chopin, Bach, and Brahms did as well, and also that some Negro spirituals did. So there are certain conventions. If you go to the piano and play any old note, that might give you one kind of musical output. Well, let's look at some behaviors and some sets of things. If you play all these notes, and I suspect I'm probably talking more to teachers of students, they should know that some of these notes are called basic tones, and the remaining scale steps are called added tones. Other theorists might call these not necessarily basic, but inactive. So we have an inactive, active dyad, or inactive, active way of looking at these 7 tones. 1, 3, 5. If we number these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 1, 3, and 5. And often they're called inactive. The remainder are called active. Let's not go too far and look at some of these behaviors. If a child was given a principle that the actives go next door, there's an active, it goes next door down, and this one goes up. They say, well, I'm not so impressed with that, but that top note, that little finger, does a lot of work, but it stayed in the convention. Now, if I were in one environment, I'd do that. In another environment, you see, the way you harmonize those simple behaviors. Let's look again at the behaviors. 4 and 6 have downward tendencies. How far down? To the nearest white note to the left. 7 has an upward tendency to the nearest white note to the right. So since we're thinking kinesthetically rather than just theoretically, if I'm on this note, which is 7, imagine numbering these. They have numbers in your mind. 7 goes to 8. That's called a resolution, as a matter of fact. 6 comes to 5. We said 6 and 4 have downward tendencies. Here's 4, has a tendency to come to 3, and 2 can go either way, up or down. The child, let's say, or the student only has those resources, and I want to write a melody. Okay, 6 went to 5, 7 went to 8. How did I get from 5 to 7? Well, there are some conventions that whenever you make leaps, you do them within the convention. See, when you follow conventions, you end up being stylistic, and there are sub-styles, many of them in music, and then you can personalize those sub-styles and break those rules once you understand them. Okay, so again, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We said that 1, 3, and 5 were called inactive. All right, We won't defend that now, but just accept that for a second. And in review, 2, 4, 6, and 7 are active. 7 has an upward tendency, T-do. All right? That's one cliche in a sense, not in a pejorative sense, but that's just one of the conventions, T-do. 6, 5, and I'm dealing with what we call major keys. The minor keys have a slightly different story. 4 to 3, 2 can go either way. Now, 1, 3, and 5 can go up or down, right next door. They're free to go up or down. So if I'm on 1, I can go next door. 3 can go up or down, and 5 can go up or down. You know, we're talking about resources. They seem to fit together easily. Now, I'm on 3. I can go to 4. Whoa. We're speaking about the top note or the melody that we're writing. We haven't discussed all that other stuff that's underneath of it. I don't want to call it stuff. I'd like to call it music. We said that 3 can go down. Okay? Now, if you're on 2, 2 could go to 1. So, a song that follows the rules in public domain. Every note follows the rules of, or these conventions that we're discussing now. So here we go. All right, wouldn't want any applause for that, creatively speaking, but same, I don't know whether you get kicked out of church or not for playing that way, but that's a way to harmonize melody. Music is so wonderful. You've got so many hybrids, so many possibilities of combining. Once you understand separate skills, sets of things, their behaviors, and then how to combine all those sets. It's a good feeling to be able to harmonize in many, many ways. As a matter of fact, in Joy to the World, that one note for me had 48 possibilities for how to put a chord under it. This one has 48. So to go from here to here gives you 48 times 48. So you don't run out of resources if you understand things thoroughly, and each resource thoroughly and put them together.